Well, we're at the CCA workbench for the Rigs and Techniques segment of the show. Dave,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I hear that you are the lobster man.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what it's going to take.
I try to be humble. No, I haven't really done a lot of lobster, and I'm just, but I've done enough. I've done it.
I'm
caught a few
like
lobsters.
you. I have done some, but I in my 30s, I got this healthy respect for things that can swim faster than me, and so I've stayed in the boat for the last 20 years, to be real honest with you.
Well, Florida has a really healthy, thriving population of lobsters,
do.
especially down in South Florida. But they come all the way up to where we live, up in the Central Florida region. I remember as a kid, I would see divers just walking out at Satellite Beach and hitting all those coquina reefs right there close to shore and coming out with some giant ones. Evidently, the further north you get up there, the ones you catch are probably going to be bigger ones, supposedly, is what I understand. But, for the recreational harvest of lobsters, first off, first thing you need to do is go get yourself a license. You need a license and a lobster license and a saltwater fishing license. You have to have both at the same time. There are two. Go to myfwc.com. to check
or your
out
local tax agent.
Yeah, to check all your record. Well, it shows you all the regulations and everything. So I would go online there and check it out. There's two seasons, the sport and the regular. The sport season this year is July 30, 31. The last consecutive Wednesday and Thursday of every July is when the sports season is, that 2 days. And the limit is 6 per person in Monroe County and Biscayne National Park, and 12 per person everywhere else in Florida.
Wow.
So, the possession limits are very strictly enforced for lobsters. Yeah. They really go after you, so you got to be careful.
You got 10 plus 2.
Right.
That's it.
The regular season runs from August 6th to March 31st, and the daily bag limit is 6 per person the rest of the year. All of the lobsters must be measured. To make sure that their carapace, the top part where their head is 3 inches, at least 3 inches long. Yeah. And you use a little gauge like this to do that. And you have to be in possession of that measuring device at all times.
It has to fit and lock in on the top side and
go
then
around the
go around the bottom side. If there's any slack in there, then guess what? It ain't big enough.
Right. That's why most of these tools up here have that device attached to them, because if you have the tickle stick with the device, you're going to be all right. If you don't have that,
unless you just catch those big ones like we do in the Central East region, and then you don't have to measure those because
but you still got to have this thing.
You got to have it.
Doesn't matter how big your lobster is, you still have to have this. Yep. Lobsters have to be landed in a whole condition. You can't twist them off.
No twisting them.
And you can't take any egg-bearing lobsters. Any females you catch with eggs underneath have to be released
immediately.
Exactly. So some of the tools that we're going to be working with, of course, a mask, fins, and snorkel you're going to need. I like to have a weight belt. When you're a heftier guy like myself, and you're diving in 10-foot.
It just compensates for your extra buoyancy.
Exactly. So you're holding your breath. So you're taking in a deep breath and you're kind of buoyant. If you have a good weight belt and you know how to, make sure that you have just the right amount, make sure it has a good release on it. Yep. So in case you get in trouble, you can pop out of that thing and get back up to the surface. A good pair of gloves, is necessary. Spiny lobster, they got spines on them. And plus, you're reaching into holes and messing around in coral reefs and
you
rocks.
got to watch out for fire coral and various other things. Yeah.
And wear a good pair of booties as well. One of the things that happens when people who don't dive that much, they put on a pair of swim fins and get out there swimming. It really can chafe your feet. If your feet aren't used, if you're not going barefoot all the time, you should wear a pair of good socks. The tickle stick is an essential tool. We have my buddy, I got these from Johnny Mertens and Michelle Mertens in Jupiter.
Okay.
He told me this is kind of like the evolution of the tickle stick. They started with something like this.
Just a straight, or an old fishing rod with the guide stripped off.
Yeah,
of
the top of a fishing rod. And then they went to this aluminum stick.
Well, and the little angle helps get in behind the lobster to kind of
tickles them out.
To come on out.
Yeah, lobsters don't like to be touched on their tail.
Right.
So, and this is one that actually will extend.
This thing's really cool.
And has a built-in gauge.
It's adjustable for the length. It has a built-in gauge, and it has an overall measuring device on it as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can tickle them out of that hole, and then scoop them up with the net.
Get them out like that, and then get them.
Corral them up.
Actually, because they always want to kick and go up into the net.
And then a good thing to have, which Johnny and Michelle said, this is a must-have thing is a containment system.
Yeah.
And this is the deluxe
clip.
lobster in.
Yeah.
See, once they go in that hole, there's a spring-loaded thing. Mm-hmm. They can't get out of there.
Perfect.
And then and because they're all spiny, it would be hard to pull them out of there, but they got a nice zipper on the bottom. You just open that zipper up, shake them all out, and then you've got, you don't have to keep going back to the boat every time you catch one. You just put them in that hole.
Well, I tell you, Dave, you did an excellent job describing exactly what everybody needs to get out there and get. So
go get them.
Thank you so much. And
Go get them and bring them home to me. I'll have some lobster
and we're going to
spaghetti.
see, and we'll ask Bree if she's got a recipe. So let's go there next.
There you go.